After an incredible run on the Amazing Race Season 37 and an unfortunate elimination at the end of part 1 of the finale in Portugal, it is Alyssa and Josiah who were eliminated, but they join me now to unpack it all. Alyssa, Josiah, hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, Blake. It's great to see you. Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing well.
It's been a crazy 48 hours. We're overwhelmed with love and support and all the feels are coming back.
Yeah.
But it's
And our
it's
dog
been good.
pooped on the floor this morning, and
Oh,
I cleaned that up. Yeah, and we both took care of that. So that's where we're at right now. That's kind of life, you know. Some highs, some lows. That's the race too.
when reality kicks in, you just have to deal with it, right?
Right,
So, alas,
100%.
here we are. Yes, yes. Okay, so I want to take you back to that day in Portugal, which I'm sure is a little bit hard to replay to an extent, but kind of walk me through that day for you, and then also just kind of those immediate emotions of being knocked out right before the finale.
Yeah. So in Portugal, I think that for me personally, I wanted that lead that we had on Jonathan on an hour and a half. It actually became a terrifying lead for me because it's kind of like leading in a sport like 2-0. You know how they say that? Alyssa tells me all the time that's the most dangerous lead
Mm-hmm.
because momentum matters so much.
Right.
And I was tense and I was like, I don't want them to make up time on us. And it's just wild that it did happen. So we were doing great, did a phenomenal job. We were like over an hour ahead, and then we get rear-ended, and that was very short. We get out. Hey, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. All right, we're both good to go. But then we stopped. We got out of the race. We stopped considering where we were going and just kept driving. And we were shaken up. And then we got on a highway and got lost for like 40 minutes. And then we finally find our way back and get to the train station, which was 3 minutes away from the getting rear-ended. It was just 3 minutes away from there. We get back to the train station and we get a train that was about to board and it gets delayed
Yeah.
and it gets delayed again. And we're sitting there like it's so tense, unbelievably tense. It gets delayed again. And it was over 20 minutes of delays. And then we see Jonathan and Anna. And in that moment, like all the tension I had felt that day kind of disappeared. And like I wish that I had just let that tension feel disappear the entire time. But it disappeared, and I was like, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna race again. And Alyssa and I were both on the same page, and we're like, we're gonna fight this out to the very end, whatever this is. We're not gonna beat Jonathan in a puzzle. Jonathan does puzzles, like that's his jam, and we didn't. At the end of the day, we lost, and we accept it, and we move on. But it was such a great experience, and yeah, it was just an awesome, awesome time. I wish we would have made it to the finale, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, and despite that, though, I think even though you maybe had a rough final day, I think something that was extremely, prevalent throughout your time on the race was how strong of a duo you guys were. I think a lot of people on social media, from what I saw anyway, really took a liking to your marriage and the way you talked to each other and how supportive you were. Just that even one of the big moments that stands out to me that a lot of people were talking about was when you cried when Alyssa was jumping out doing the skydiving. So I'm curious to know a little bit more about kind of your relationship dynamic and how, did you have conversations going into the race? Like, okay, if things get heated, let's handle it this way, or just any maybe kind of prep you did to kind of keep yourselves calm throughout the season.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot because you if you watch the race, you've seen teams get eliminated because they just can't communicate well. And we know that communication between each other and our relationship is had to be a strength for us. Um I didn't know it was going to be quite as good as it was because we are normal. We fight a lot and we're totally not toxic and we fight in a pretty quote unquote a good way, but we fight and
Absolutely.
I didn't know how we were going to be because you think you fight in real life and then you go into this pressure cooker stressful situation. It's probably going to be worse.
Yeah.
You're probably going to say things you regret and it's probably going to be out of your control. But luckily we really leaned on each other in those moments more than I was expecting us to. And I can't say enough about how amazing of a partner I had. I was so stressed out at times, and Josiah had this ability to just be lift me up and be like, I love you and you're amazing and we can do this. And hearing those things instead of hearing something else, or just also him reflecting the stress and panic that I was showing, it meant it changed everything for us. It got us as far as we got, and it was probably our biggest strength that we had together.
Yeah, I'd say communication is huge. And like to Alyssa's point, like what's wild is that we in stressful moments we got to see you don't know how you're going to respond to the race, and we didn't know. And we got to see that in stressful moments, and it really does relate to our life. It's just not something that we acknowledged before. But if it's stressful moments, we're a team together, then we lean on each other and we respect each other to the maximum. And what's funny is like our first fight was over playing tennis against each other. So if we're against each other, we'll, and by the way, like I won. That's the point. But but
Right.
but see, like, so the truth is, like, even when we fight, we keep like a respectful tone about. We know that we love each other, and that's the important thing. Like, we'll even like during an argument or a fight, or anything, be like, "I love you." Like, just so you know, we're still on the same team. We just disagree. That I won in this tennis match, even though I did.
Well, hey, speaking of disagreeing, one of those moments that kind of stood out to me that honestly, like you guys were a team I was really rooting for, especially in the second half of this season. But I was like wanted to come through the screen during when you guys were debating about the express pass in France, because Alyssa, obviously you wanted to use it, and Josiah, you were like no, and I mean you ended up getting second place, so it didn't really matter for that specific leg. But kind of walk me through what was so complex about just like using it. I mean, you were close to the end, and you could have jumped ahead if you would have just listened to Alyssa. So I
Right,
just
I
was
wanted to
like,
say,
I want some clarity on that situation.
I just want to say the clarity is Alyssa's smart and I'm dumb, and I accept it. Like, I made the wrong. I made the we.
What we ultimately did was very dumb.
Yeah.
Because we just saw it differently. I saw it as, here's all the teams. We can jump to first. We'll go calmly do the detour, like without feeling the stress of being in the back. And then we'll go to the pit stop and we'll be in first. Josiah saw it as, this is a route info. It's usually not as hard as the detour. Let's do this. He's good at memory challenges, and that it was memory related. Let's do this. And then we can just go bypass the detour and go to the pit stop and get first. Both of those routes would have led us to first place, I think. What we wound up doing in the middle, which was just as frustrating for us to watch as it was for everyone else, was I mean, yeah, we got second, but we easily could have got third, fourth. We could have been fifth. Like,
Could have been out.
we could have been out.
And it's on me. Like, Alyssa's being very kind. I accept it. Like, I've seen the people yelling. I've seen them being like, "Josiah, you're an idiot," and I take no offense because I do the same thing if I was watching someone else do it. Alyssa had a great point. She stood there and said, "People have been here for 40 minutes, and we can skip this." And I was wrong. And my thought process was what Alyssa was thinking. I thought a detour was going to be harder. I missed the reality of the situation. Like, even if a detour was harder, we'd have 40 minutes on these people. So I accept it. I that's on me, and I deserve. Scream at me, everyone who watches the season. I deserve it. I earned it, and she was right.
Those moments when you're watching the show that you're like, oh my God, why are they doing
Right.
that? Like, what is this thought process?
Right.
But like, the exhaustion you have, the tension you feel, like it leads to like really cloudy decision making.
But not for you, because you saw the 40 minutes, right? Like, it was me. It was me, and I take it. So I'm here for it.
Well, and I mean, not to be shady, but lucky for you, there were some other couples this season that weren't as kind to each other. So you guys look like angels regardless. So it didn't really matter. But another moment that kind of stood out to me was the little challenge that you guys were the only ones that took on for the express pass of walking across the fire coals. What was that experience like for you?
It's crazy because that is probably one of the only challenges in the entire world that you could present Josiah with that would freak him out a little bit at all. Like, he does not like, I literally had to sip his coffee before him this morning because he was afraid it was too hot. He can't get things out of the oven. He doesn't like touching.
Great at it.
Okay. It's the one and only thing. Like, if you're gonna classify it as a fear, like it's the only fear you have.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that came up. And that was just one of those moments where I like see it and I'm so excited. And then like all of a sudden I was like, oh wait, like this is something that you're gonna struggle with. And I don't think I was ever prepared to think that there was going to be something that you were going to struggle with. So it was like
wild one.
It was just
the hot coals. It's my nightmare. Let me tell you, that's not what I want to do.
But he crushed it, and
well, you were great in that. Like, to make it seem like it wasn't hot, and doing it first was really nice. Yeah. So I definitely needed a lot of support in that moment, and it's embarrassing. And trust me, my brothers are roasting me relentlessly, and my friends are too, and I deserve it. But
what a cool challenge to get to
it was
do.
really cool. And that's cool for the race to face something that I'm uncomfortable with. That's what I love about the race, right? Is it makes you do things you are not comfortable with, and that's something I'm extremely uncomfortable with. So for me, what a highlight that I got to do something I don't ever want to do. So that was really cool.
Well, hey, in the race of $1 million, you'll do anything, I feel like. So, it's
Right.
just like that's the time to do it. Something that really stood out to me about you specifically, Josiah, was your continued kind of representation and vocalization of your home country. So, why was that important to you, and why did you make such an effort of doing that?
Man, you're the first person to ask me that, and it matters so much to me. And like, no offense to the other people, I just never thought that means so much to me, is what I'm saying. Guanaja is a small island that people don't even know there are islands off Honduras, much less the least like tourist island. And we don't have much tourism. It's very hard to get there. But the people there are some of the best people in the world. And my brothers still live out there, and I have nieces there who like started their own little restaurant. And like, just to have I have a photo of the graph and the Google searches of Guanaja, it was flat, zero. The day the race came out and I had just put it on my shirt, it shot up, it spiked like crazy. And for me, that's so cool. And that's what reality TV does, and the Amazing Race does, is it gets people to see places that you never even knew existed. And it was such a great opportunity for me to represent some people who are absolutely incredible and underrepresented. So it was a total honor, just to be a small part of that. And I'm so thankful the Amazing Race allowed for that. And it was so formative for me, and it will be formative for our child. And I'm just glad people got to see this place that they probably never would have seen otherwise. So I feel very lucky.
Well, what I really appreciate about it too, I think, is like, when you're on these shows like this, you're given such a, big platform for sometimes just a short amount of time. And I think using it appropriately is not something people always do, but you really took that time to, give a voice to something that you really cared about. So I appreciated that as the viewer. Now, you just mentioned this child. You guys just announced that you're expecting,
Yes.
and the baby's coming next month. So how excited are you guys for this next journey? You kept alluding to, a child on the race.
We're absolutely thrilled, and it's so cool because we got to just watch ourselves. That we taped the race a year ago, and we got to watch ourselves be like, we think we're ready to be parents, and like we want to do this after, and now we're doing it, and it's real, and it feels more real than ever right now with only like 6 weeks left until this happens. And I'm just so excited to see Josiah be a dad, to do this together. It's gonna be the hardest thing we've ever done together. Yeah, like way harder than the Amazing Race. So I think, we're as ready as we can be, and just over the moon excited.
And the dad jokes are now have permission.
They're warmed up.
Now, oh, I'm ready.
I mean, listen, you guys walked across fire coals, and Alyssa, you skydove in this season. So I feel like you can handle diaper changing. I think you'll be okay with the parenting. I think you guys have this. Final question for you. I know baby's on the way, but let's say baby gets a little bit older. In the future, would you guys be interested in returning competing again on the show?
Yeah, it was the coolest thing we've ever done in our lives. Our life would have to match up with it, obviously, but we have a really great supportive family system. We're not going to obsess over that or like make it our whole lives and personalities, because
No.
we have our life, and we have to be happy in this life that we have, which is a really great one. And we can't just be like focused on like the what ifs of the future. And like, if we ever got to do it again, I'd be the most grateful, excited person in the world, because
I think the root of that question is like, did you like it enough that you'd want to do it again? And I wanna emphasize that like this was one of the best, most incredible, amazing, like life-changing experiences for us. And we would love to do it again if everything matches up. It was just beyond our expectations. Way beyond. It was incredible. And we're like both lifelong fans. So to like actually do it and be like, it was even better than you used to dream of as a kid. I'm absolutely, we'd love the opportunity, but of course, life is life, and you never know what's gonna happen. But
Absolutely. Well, I think your response to that just speaks to the kind of people that you are. You're rooted in better things, bigger things. You're excited about your life. So, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today about your journey on The Amazing Race. Congrats on baby coming next month. I'm so excited for you guys, and thanks for all that you did on this show.
thank you so much. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you. It was great talking to you.